What's up everyone? So the PlayStation Showcase just aired and I thought it was a pretty good show. Many of the games weren't for me, but I'm sure that the Spider-Man fans, Metal Gear Solid, alongside with Alan Wake fans are very happy. But there is one game that caught my eye that is more around my alley, and that is Phantom Blade Zero. And in today's video, I wanted to analyze the trailer and give my first impressions. As usual, I will play the trailer in its entirety in case you haven't seen it yet, that way we are on the same page. But before we get started, I just want to remind you guys to please subscribe and turn on all notifications, that way you will never miss another video. With that out of the way, let's get right into it.
What's your plan? Knowing you have only 66 days to live. Just run away. It won't make any difference at the end of the day. You know better than anyone else that no one could escape.
Everyone wears a mask! You too!
This is a real face!
He let you live? What secret did you sell him? Only a dead person can keep a secret. Going where? This damn place! You're suicidal! One last toast, and we're all done. Patience is the key, Master. Time is not on his side. All we have to do is wait.
Yes. Let's kill him with time.
What's your plan? Knowing you have only 66 days to live.
Get my heart back.
PlayStation.
So we have some additional information on the PlayStation blog post. First we'll take a look at that and then I'll give my impressions. So what's your plan knowing you only have 66 days to live? This journey began with Rainblood: Town of Death, an indie game I made back in 2010. The development process was a creative outlet for me as an architecture student, first in Beijing and later in New Haven. When I returned to China, I founded my own development studio, S-Game, and Rainblood grew into a franchise that would later become Phantom Blade. Most of these titles were for smartphones and never released outside China, but we still managed to build a fan base of over 20 million players. Now allow me to introduce Phantom Blade Zero, the spiritual rebirth of the original Rainblood and the game we always wanted to make. Phantom World, the universe in which the game is set, is a place where many kinds of powers converge. Here you'll find Chinese kung fu, intricate machines reminiscent of steampunk, arts of the occult, and other intriguing elements that don't quite fit into any of these categories. In Phantom Blade Zero, you play as Soul, an elite assassin serving an elusive but powerful organization known simply as the Order. Soul is framed for the murder of the Order's patriarch, gravely injured in the ensuing manhunt, and though his life is saved by a mystic healer, the makeshift cure will only last for 66 days. Now he must fight against powerful foes and inhuman monstrosities, all while seeking out the mastermind behind it all before his time runs out. From Louis Shaw's story and Bruce Lee's film to Michelle Yeoh in Everything Everywhere All at Once and Donnie Yen in John Wick Chapter 4, Phantom Blade Zero draws on a wide range of martial arts icon, but with a twist of its own. What we call Kung Fu Punk instills a heavy dose of punk spirit and our own unique visual aesthetics. Phantom Blade Zero unfolds in a semi-open world consisting of multiple large maps filled with diverse, handcrafted activities. This world of Phantom Blade Zero is bleak and punishing, a constant reminder to never let your guard down. Seeking out the game's many challenges and powerful foes will reward you with weapons, armor, artifact, skills, and other ways to customize or progress your character. Having a decade of mobile development under our belts, we've learned to simplify control inputs for touchscreens, giving players ways to execute elaborate moves without mindless button mashing. We've taken these lessons and applied them to action gameplay with a controller. And we're honored to have Mr. Kenji Tanigaki as our action director, the fight choreography master behind many of the classic martial art films that inspired us. For Phantom Blade Zero, Kenji-san physically demonstrated each move in the game to be scanned by a camera matrix. This data was then used as reference material for our animation artists, who would then rebuild these moves by hand for use in the game. So now that we have all the context, let me give my first impressions on the game. First of all, I am very excited but skeptical because this is an indie developer. I've never heard of this company before, and they are known for mobile games. That being said, this trailer is very impressive. The graphics look very good, the combat looks tight, fluid, and very fast-paced, which is something that I like. Now, when I look at the combat here, I don't really see a Souls-like. The combat is way too fast and flashy to be considered methodical like a Souls-like. This is a traditional action RPG, much like Sekiro was. But in this case, it looks like the flashy elements and the speed of the combat will be up to the roof. If you look at the swords play, you are fighting multiple enemies at once, kind of like in Ghost of Tsushima, but everything is happening much quicker. It looks like all the enemies, at least the regular ones, die in a few hits, which makes a lot of sense. I really don't like games these days that have regular enemies act like bullet sponges. It's like you just keep pumping in damage and they just take and take. It's not realistic and it's not fun. So this game is looking like it's not going to be doing that. Now what's interesting is that they mentioned it was semi-open world, and you see some platforming sequences that are very impressive. They remind me of Jedi Survivor's platforming, but it is much faster and it looks way more fluid. Now as for the bosses that we have seen in this trailer, there are quite a few and they are all unique. You have the one with the cannon in his hand, you have several other bosses, And like the developer was saying in the blog post, some of them look like they are coming from a steampunk inspiration, some of them are straight up Asian inspiration, and it looks very, very interesting. They all look unique, and overall I think this game looks very promising. The combat definitely seems unique and fresh. It's not something that we've seen anywhere else. It's like a much more brutal version of Ghost of Tsushima, which I loved in the first place. So even if it was just on par with Ghost of Tsushima when it comes to the combat, I'm going to be thrilled with this game. But then again, this is just a first trailer. I'm not going to put my expectations too high, but they have definitely piqued my interest. Now please let me know what you think about this game in the comments section. Is this something that you would consider pre-ordering? Would you wait until the reviews, or is it something you're not interested in? Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel, and I'll see you guys on the next video.